The title is Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk. How to Tell Your Story in a Noisy Social Media World. So I've read this book 2, maybe 3 times, depending on what you consider reading a book. I purchased it in 2017 and read it for the first time in early 2018. And when I say read it for the first time, I mean I only read the first, I think like 3 or 4 chapters. And I love the book so much that I tried to pick it up again later in the year. And I was like, oh, I don't necessarily remember what I read in the first few chapters. I'm going to refresh. And I didn't get past those chapters again. So fast forward to the end of 2020, and I decided 2 things. One, I decided that I was going to finish this darn book. I had learned a lot in the first couple go-rounds, and I think that there was a whole lot more that this book had to offer for me. But with anything that marketing and digital today, like I knew that this book has at least somewhat of a shelf expiration as far as like these different social media platforms. These social media platforms do not work the same today as they did in 2013 when this book was written. But I found that this book actually forecasted a lot of the ways that people know these websites or like apps work. So it doesn't surprise me that this guy is a really good marketer. He totally called the shots, or he totally, called things out as they were. But I have learned so much from this book, and everyone that I've researched online have learned a lot from this book also. And the author, Gary Vaynerchuk, is a very well-known author. He has many publications, so I'm definitely going to be looking into his other books. Book summary. A critical component to online marketing is creating content that inspires engagement online, particularly on social media platforms. This book explains how to create and share your company's story with online content designed to engage, delight, or inspire your target audience. It's a robust resource with loads of ready-to-use takeaways. It's a great book for anyone looking for an extra spark of inspiration in their marketing. Key concepts right here, all right? Here we go. We're rolling into it. If you are not on social media, you're going to lose. You need to create a presence on new social media platforms before everyone else, because if you're there first, if that platform gets big, you're going to get big with it. Every social media platform comes with a specific tone and design, so you need to speak in that tone and design for that platform. If you're not, you're going to look foreign, forced, and out of place, which is what foreign means. Content needs to fit the tone of the platform. It's important to branch out on topics beyond your brand when possible. And there's many examples of this in the book. He talks about how Oreo did it on a Super Bowl night, and how a shoe company did it, a boot company. There's all these different ways that you can use pop culture and current events to strike a chord with your audience. Facebook filters content according to the number of engagements, so likes, comments, and shares. And on Facebook, most branded content only reaches 3 to 5% of their audience. So this is why I have personally started posting more photos that I've been taking with my professional camera to my personal page. Mostly photos of me or my friends that I take when we're doing some sort of social outing. Sometimes I'll post other just like community event stuff, because my personal page actually will have more people seeing it than my professional one if they have the same number of like friends or likes. So I definitely think it's a great idea to utilize your personal page when possible. And that's what I'm doing. And the reason Facebook does this is so that they can charge you for views. So if you only usually reach 3 to 5% of your audience, then you can pay to reach a bigger percentage of your audience. When you create ads on Facebook, you can target a specific audience, so this makes your money go further than if you were making an ad on, say, TV or in the newspaper or on the radio, because you're able to target the very specific person that you're looking for. Maybe you're looking for someone that's interested in dogs, or you're looking for someone that's interested in cake, or you're looking for someone that's interested in wedding. On Twitter especially, listening is just as important as sharing, and Twitter is a conversation focused on information and ideas. It's not a passive billboard. So it's not a place just to share blog posts or share links. Strike up conversations and be friendly. You never know where a conversation may lead. It could lead to a sale. It could lead to a business investment or venture. You just never know. Take advantage of current hashtags and use them. Keep using them, but it's a good idea to switch them up, and you don't want to put them like all in the words of your content. It's a good idea to have them in there in like a native format. This is a nugget that I found at the beginning of the book, that when I was going through and finding other people's synopsis of the books or other reports, I didn't find anyone talking about the email list. And I'm pretty sure that in chapter 1, Gary talks about his email list that he personally grew, and that you never know where Facebook is going to be. You never know where Twitter is going to be. So I could be wrong. Maybe this isn't in the book. I'm pretty sure it is, but start an email list. You own your own email list. Facebook doesn't own it. YouTube doesn't own it. Google doesn't own it. You own that list. You can always contact those people. You can always reach out to your customers and your clients that way. So I encourage an email list. How frequently you use the list is totally up to you and your brand and what you're like, but I try not to be like too intrusive. You know, I might email out one thing a month, one thing a quarter. I hate to like be super intrusive. Micro content plus community management equals effective social media marketing. So there's some things in the book that I thought were also some really good nuggets, but these also, I don't know, they're like bigger nuggets than the smaller nuggets that I mentioned before. And that's what I'm going to talk about right now. We're going to kick off with the characteristics of great content and telling stories. The first characteristic is that it's native. So it's going to be matching the format of the platform that it's on. If you're on Instagram, you're going to be sharing a photo, maybe a story or a video on IGTV. If you're on Twitter, you might be able to, you might share a short post, or if you're Wendy's on Twitter, you might have a little bit of a sassy post. Regardless, it's native. If content is king, then context is God. This is huge in the book. He mentions it many times. Pop culture and current events are two huge things for that. You can put out good content, but if you ignore the style of the platform, it's gonna fall flat. Number 2 is that it doesn't interrupt. Those native, uninterrupting advertisements feel more connected to your target audience. Characteristic 3 is that it doesn't make demands often. And this is what the whole title of the book comes from. When there are two fighters in the ring and they're boxing with each other, they are throwing out small punches called jabs before they finally throw a punch with a strong arm. Why? They're feeling out for the distance as far away as their opponent is. I probably have the worst form right now. Knuckles up. Do we curve them in? I don't know. What do we do? Do I have the thumbs right? My boxer. So before you throw in your right hook, you want to test out the distance for your opponent. In regards to making content, Leo Burnett once said, make it simple, make it great, make it memorable, and make it inviting to look at. Make it fun to read. It leverages pop culture. So that's number 4. It leverages pop culture. So you want to make it look like a part of everyone's daily stream with their news and other things. It's micro, so you don't have to have big, long posts. And its content is constant and self-aware. So we have some questions for when you're creating content on Facebook. These questions are found at the end of each chapter and I think are super great questions to ask when you're creating Facebook micro content. 1, is this text too long? 2, is it provocative, entertaining, or surprising? 3, is the photo striking and high quality? 4, is the logo visible? I would take 4 and 3 and take it a step further to say, is it optimized for phones? Because if your logo or like all the words aren't optimized for a phone screen where most of your viewers are going to be, it's definitely not ready for Facebook. Have you chosen the right format for the post? And is there a call to action? And is the call to action in the right place? Is it interesting to anyone? Really? Like, really? Really, is this interesting? And are we asking too much of the people consuming our content by posting it? So you don't want to post garbage all the time. You don't want to just have mindless posts. You want to treat your people good. These are our questions. And questions to ask about your Twitter content. Now, I don't really use Twitter. So reading this chapter wasn't the easiest for me, but I really wanted to finish the whole book. Questions to ask about your Twitter content. Is it 1, to the point? Is the hashtag unique and memorable? Is the image high quality? Does the voice sound authentic? Will it resonate with the Twitter audience? Questions to ask about your Tumblr content. Did I customize my theme in a way that properly reflects my brand? Did I make a cool animated GIF? Did I make a cool animated GIF? Did I make a cool animated GIF? And the answer is, you bet your buttons I did. Okay, so practical application. You're going to learn to master Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and other social media platforms. You can use the things that you learn in the book about these platforms. You can apply them to new social media platforms like TikTok or Visco. You should carve out time each day for social media interaction, not just posting to your own social media, but also going to other people's pages and posting on their content. You should be paying attention to trending topics and current events and modern pop culture, and then you should comment on those things with pizzazz and personality. Make sure that that personality matches your brand. Develop a process to create bite-sized content and visuals to have numerous, unique, fun posts instead of simply posting blog links. Finally, we have meaningful quotes. These are directly taken out of the book. Creating skillful native content has little to do with selling and a lot to do with skillful storytelling. In the right social media savvy hands, a brand that masters native content becomes human. Content is king, but context is God. You can put out good content, but if it ignores the context of the platform on which it appears, it can still fall flat. There is something else that you could do as you reevaluate your social media creative. Stop thinking about your content as content. Think about it rather as micro content, tiny and unique nuggets of information, humor, commentary, or inspiration that you reimagine every day, even every hour, as you respond to today's cultures, conversations, and current events in real time in a platform's native language and format. I'm going to post any resources that I use down in my description box, so be sure to check down there for the resources, along with a link of where you can find this book. I'm going to link the Thrift Books link to it because I definitely think you should stop there and check out there to see if they have one available for you. This one I picked up on Thrift Books, and it was a great find. I'm super glad I got it, and it's a prized possession on my shelf. I'll definitely, now that I've gone through it and I understand the concepts and I really slowed down and understood everything, I'm ready to move on to the next one. I want to talk about application for this. So I've really pulled back on blog posts and I've zeroed in on my micro content. I'm creating more Instagram posts, more Facebook posts. I'm still creating blog posts. However, it's just at a slower rate, which works better for me because blog posts seemed like they were a stretch. I always felt like every time I was making one that I was, I always felt great at the end of making one, but the pressure of needing to make a blog post for every single session or time that I take my camera out, it just kind of felt like a lot to me. So now I'm really excited to, have a confirmation of rolling back on blog posts is a good thing and upping my content on my social media platforms. You guys have probably noticed that over the last 3-4 months anyways, but I'm super happy to know that where I think my business should be going, like the marketing decisions that I was making for myself actually align very well with this book, and I hadn't even finished it when I was making those decisions. So that's good for me. It makes me feel, more secure. I don't know if secure is the right word. Just like I did the right thing. Like I'm still a new small business owner, and it's great when, you did a good job in that situation, even though no one necessarily taught you what you're supposed to do. So, but it's good after I've already made those decisions, again, to get that confirmation. So enough about that. Let me know if you have read this book. Let me know if you have any other marketing book recommendations. I would love to hear them. Go ahead and leave them in the comment box down below, or you can send me a message on Instagram. My handle is @BrittanyOgraphy, and I will see you guys in the next video.